Alright, here we are with Wood War number 12 against James Typhoon, and this is actually the first game we've ever played together, though we have had a lot of communication in the Discord channel itself. I don't really have a lot of experience with James Typhoon's style, though he does give a lot of advice when talking in Discord, and most of his advice makes sense, so I'm sure he's a fairly decent coach, and from the game we played, actually, yeah, he played pretty well, so I'm quite happy saying that he's a decent coach in the community, but with one game it's pretty hard to tell just how decent. So, we've got our boys dancing the Egyptian and singing zombie, ironically, because there are no zombies in this team. Now they could be singing dance like an Egyptian, of course they could, that'll do, they're singing dance like an Egyptian. And the lizards are singing which translates roughly as I've lost my keys. I'm liking the black and white armor on the lizards, I must say, that's very nice. It looks like the referee though, which is a bit weird. Okay, coin flip, and coin flip went the way of the lizards. And they chose to receive. Yeah, it did go the way of the lizards, they chose to receive. I'm a Tomb Guardian down this match. The Tomb Guardian is still dead. I'm hoping to replace him after this match, actually. And also my key player, my Agility 3, Skeleton, is also unfortunately out. James Typhoon has his full roster though, whereas I'm faced with two loners. Loner number 1 and loner number 2. I've never been a big fan of lizards when playing as Khemri. They, in my personal opinion, I think they're the worst possible matchup for Khemri because the strength is just so good. The Tomb Guardians are less useful, and the skeletons themselves can't really slow down the lizard bashing power. Though, if I do get hold of a skink, that's always good news for me, and I'm going to be laughing all the way, especially as I have quite a lot of block in this team. Maybe not quite a lot. I have 2 Blitzras and I have a Furra with block. And we start off with Get the Ref. That's a good fun start. And suitable for James and I, as we spend most of our time just basically trying to annoy each other, but in an amicable way, not in a nasty way at all. We did have quite a nice chat while playing as well, in the same kind of style that we normally have in the Discord channel itself. He's as good as giving it as he is as receiving it, which is a good quality, I think. He's going to make his first move trying to put down my Mighty Blow Tomb Guardian. He wants to put that piece out of action, of course, because it's probably the biggest threat to his stronger lizards in the lineup. And we're immediately going for a foul. Nice. And immediately losing the bribe. That's even nicer. And try and do some damage to the skeletons on the line. My actual skeleton is fine. The first loner is pushed as well. And the second loner has to deal with the crocs, though we're not going to do that yet. First we're going to secure the ball. Good enough? Nope, crocs is coming now. Also a push. Fine. That's a pretty good opening for Khemri against lizards. Quite happy with that. Ball handling skills are pretty solid. And skinks can move fast, so I'm going to have to screen off this pitch as quickly as possible and as accurately as possible using my players at the back. Obviously the skink can just run from side to side, no problem, so I need to make sure that both sides are at least a little bit screened, though I am going to dedicate some players to this little fight here, just because at the moment there are way too many pieces on this mummy. I'm going to call it mummy, it's easier. I know they're not mummies, but we'll call them mummy. I made a point of not putting more pieces on the crocs though. It's one of my biggest flaws at the moment for some reason, is taking on the big guy when I don't need to. And I take an early block, which I didn't really need to take. Could have moved one more piece before I did that, but actually quite happy with that, because if the skink does come through, then it's going to give me a nice juicy target for punching. Trying to put down the skeletons that I did use to clean up the area, and skink does come through. He does come right through. There we go, there's the juicy target. Thanks, James. And second skink comes in, still a juicy target. I'm finally taking the second skink and locking up the other one. And last one goes to the scoring threat on the other side with a help from his little friend, probably going to come up next turn and join his buddy. And 2 down from the Saurus. There you go, that's a 2 down each. Good enough. Alright, Mighty Blow Tomb Guardian is up and locking up Saurus. And we're going to take out the skink, that's going to be the choice, but we are going to lock off this area with these 3 pieces first. I can do that relatively safely here. More than relatively safely, I can do that very safely. And even if I do get a 2 down, that's fine with Fracture, of course. Got to mention as well, I was quite down on TV, so I did manage to get the Wizard as well. Fracture does some damage, that's a skink KO'd. And Tomb Guardian take their punches too. And there's a Saurus KO'd as well, that's a bad start for James actually. That's unfortunate with the armor break there. And the second Saurus is pushed. Unfortunately, the block Saurus manages to get the 2 down, and Stiff is KO'd, but I didn't feel the need to reroll that, so no big deal. Doesn't really affect the pitch too much at the moment. Let's see what he does in response. Skink moves back into safety. Good call, and he moves the other skink back as well. I'm pretty sure he wants me to put these pieces into the fight, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to make sure this pitch is screened off and he has no room for breathing this game. That's my main goal here. Though he's not getting very lucky with the armor breaks so far. There we are, going to blitz a Tomb Guardian and get a skull. Reroll. Not sure that was needed, but good enough. Gets an armor break from it. I spoke too soon about the no armor breaks, obviously. It does mean that you can set up a little bit safer, but I'm not sure I needed the reroll there, to be honest. Move Tomb Guardian onto the skink. It has 2 purposes. Not only does it scare the skink, but also it locks off better here. And we're going to use these 3 pieces to screen, like I said. We're not going to put them into the fight. That's not the plan here. I'm going to take a block on the skink though, because I want these skinks out if possible. If you can knock out the skinks in the Wizard team, a lot of coaches panic. Some coaches don't. Saurai are pretty good at picking up the ball, to be fair. They're not so bad, they're equally as bad as skeletons. But a lot of coaches panic if their skinks are gone. Righto. And that's a double skull. Again, not entirely sure he needed to re-roll that, but I don't blame him for re-rolling that one certainly, because it means that he can do more damage this turn, or at least set up a little bit better. But you could also make the argument that he should have moved the pieces first. Difficult to say. That bonehead's pretty hard. He really wanted the Tomb Guardian down there. Stunty does things, and the ball stays where it is. Now let's move Tomb Guardians into position. This one's going to follow that skink that just ran away. No, maybe not. I put him on the Saurus actually. Okay, that's fair. locks up this part of the pitch. Don't mind that choice. And I do take a block against this Saurus just to clean up a little bit. That's good enough. Yeah, needed to reroll there because Blitzer here is supposed to be doing damage here, but reroll doesn't really help. Could have just no, I could have just gone straight for the skin because of the crocs. Yeah, Blitz on fracture, fair enough, but just a push. And 2 down, Crocs against Tomb Guard. I actually missed that during the game, I was off screen, but I saw how that happened now. Yeah, could have maybe moved the Skinks first to make them a little bit safer. As it is, my Tomb Guards can just walk onto them. Well, my Tomb Guard, this one's not going anywhere. This one's punching a Saurus. Just realised the Saurus is called Hamster. I haven't really been paying attention to the names. Rifle, El Beret, Steven Seagal, Hurricane Rolf, Zebra, Haystacks, Cunning Soap, Otter Sweet something. Oh, Cunning Soap is injured. Okay, I shouldn't have looked at his name too early, obviously. I jinxed it. But that's good news for me, and it does mean that I get onto the ball carrier quite successfully. And the 1-die block works this time. And Dentist is out, as is Lonely Harp. And Stunty runs away. That's bad news for me, because I don't really have a way to clean that up. I'm probably going to have to use the wizard here. With that stun, I don't really have a choice but the wizard. He goes for a bit of a crazy run. His position was going to be here, so that's 4 dodges, I believe. And he managed 2 of them, but the last one not so much. And yes, I do use the wizard, leading to Haystacks being KO'd, which is a pretty good result for the wizard actually. And the ball bounces into a way that I can actually get to it. At the very least, I can clear it up with the Tomb Guard. And he does just that. I'm going to leave Specimen out. I'm even going to put him forward. Yeah, I'm going to try and get the ball to him. That's going to be the plan. Specimen is my score piece here. And looking back at this, I actually made the choice to do a different pass, but I should have just gone for the straight pass to Specimen this turn. It's coming in a minute, it's not happening yet. Okay, so yeah. I could have just gone straight for the pass, to be fair, but I didn't. I instead opted to pass to a skeleton in the middle, and he fails the pickup. Reroll. He fails the catch again. That's bad news, but there's no piece that can really clean that up easily, so I'm going to have another 2 turns attempting to score. And I will do just that. There's a push from the lizard. And the lizard comes to lock up the bull carrier. Not so bad though. Tomb Guard can do some damage there. Bull carrier gets off. Not too risky. It's a good punch from the Crocs though. We got a stun on Mighty Blow piece. And another 2 down. Yeah. Dice are favouring me a little bit here. Not too bad so far though. Alright, Exhibit moves a little bit closer into the fight, and Fracture comes in as well. Now we're going to take that Blitz and try and get the ball out and get the ball to Specimen so we can score. That's a good punch. That's a very good punch. That's the best punch it could have been. that's a dead source. And Apo returned dead. So dead. Unlucky, James. Really unlucky. Well, pickup is good again. I rolled a 6 actually, couldn't be much better than that. Pass is good, again. He's managed every single pass, but catch fails. It gives me one more turn to get the ball over the line. First skeleton is stunned. Exhibit's fine. We're going for a foul. That's risky, but alright. Anything to get that Tomb Guardian out, I guess. Not a very good foul, but at least the referee didn't see. And Croxagore is going to get onto the runner. And Saurus, I guess, can actually get onto Blitzra. Not a runner, thrower. And yes, with GFI he can. I could just dodge out, but I think I'm going to blitz out. Though looking... no, even looking at it, I think the blitz was the slightly safer option. Oh, we're doing something else first. Picking pieces up for some reason. I forgot briefly that it was turn 8, that's why. And I roll a skull. That's not good enough, and that's going 0-0 into the first half, but on the Lizards' drive, I'm quite happy with that result. And I was the only one who's really a scoring threat, so that gives us confidence for the second half. We're also up players, of course. So, one piece knocked out. And on the Lizard side, 2 dead and injured. 3 KO'd, 2 come back, 1 skink stays out. Would have preferred the Saurus to stay out, but we'll take that. He's pretty short on pieces here. Khemri are not really a score-heavy team, but when you have the numbers, it's certainly possible. It's all about control anyway, with Khemri. It's not about moving the ball quickly, it's not even about doing damage, it's about slowing down the opponent and also pressuring them all the time. That's basically how I'm playing this match, or at least I think I am. And that's a perfect defense for the Lizards. Doesn't change much, all it really means is that he can get, yeah, and he does, he can get the Saurus off the Mighty Blow piece. That's all it really does for him there. Because I was going to go for a free Tomb Guard punch, but Nuffle said no. Making cage here is pretty straightforward, so I am going to do that. Also going to lock up the couple of lizards that are here and hopefully put all 3 down. That's the goal even now. Mighty Blow is going to blitz. Lowest chance of doing damage. And it's an armor break. And it's a stun. And moves back. Why do I move him there? No, let's put him back. Yep, I do put him back. That's better. Ball's over here, there's no point going that way. And second mummy also stuns. Means I can finish off the cage with the skeleton. And my last move is going to be to pick up the ball. First, let's take a punch here. And probably a foul here, because foul is pretty straightforward here. Yep. Foul the piece that isn't stunned. Hopefully put him out as well. I do just that. And I stun him too. Perfect. Perfect opening line of scrimmage there. And picking up the ball is successful with sure hands. So good. Pretty easy to break the cage, but I didn't put the cage there actually to use it as a cage. I put the cage there actually to make sure that the entire lizard team comes this way. And it worked in that regard. Quite lucky I got a push there. It doesn't mean that means that Mummy doesn't have to blitz. But by moving Crocs, it means that Mummy has to blitz. And James does bring the entire team this way. which is what I wanted him to do, because it gives me a chance to get the ball out this way. Even with the free, especially with the free story down, I can get pretty far away if the ball handling bit is successful. I do blitz the Crocs, just get a push, but a push is good enough. All I want to do is get the ball out. And moving some pieces into position to make it as difficult as possible for him to slow me down. Tomb Guard needs to go over here, and Tomb Guard needs to go here. So these two pieces aren't going anywhere. That's exactly what I do. Good. Blitzra can lock up the Skink. Yep. And Furra can come around, try and get the ball off to Blitzra number 2. And then Blitzra hopefully runs over here somewhere. That's the plan anyway. Pass is good. Catch is not. It's becoming a bit of a pattern. You get a reroll to catch, and still no. Ball is pretty safe though. So Skink is coming to make it hard for me to move the ball up. That's fair play. Even with the numbers down, James did make it very difficult to move the ball around, to be fair to him. Though, of course, Khemri aren't the best at handling. And maybe could have got away with not passing the ball, actually, this turn. Didn't really need to pass there, but it was a way of getting the ball into a position where basically James couldn't get to it. And I was definitely scoring. Without the pass, it means that I have to struggle with defense, for certain. Although I'd have the ball if I didn't pass here, so maybe pass here wasn't the best play. Fine. And Ancestor is stunned. Ancestor's actually leveled up, so I'm going to have a second Mighty Blow piece here. And James struggles to pick up the ball. He's left a Skink unprotected on my Blitzra. That's like Christmas. Thank you very much. I've also got this piece over here that can receive the ball and do the same thing going out this way. That's probably what I'm going to try and do here. But put down the Skink first. Here we go. The mistake I made here, I should have used the 2 Tomb Guardians first and put down these lizards. That was move number 1, but I didn't do that, meaning that this pass is really hard. But I do attempt it, and this time the pass fails. Though the scatter is good, it lands pretty much where I want it to land, and with my second Furra here, I have a chance of getting the ball up even now. In this game though, I think it would be fair to criticize that I'm trying to pass too much. I would take that criticism quite happily, I think, here. Skink fails the pickup anyway. Rerolls. Manages it this time and runs into a much safer position. Not the safest, but safer. Locked up Blitzra. Yeah, good choice not taking the blocks here, but Tomb Guardian can move to make things difficult for you. And I have enough pieces to manage to get the ball out in a couple of turns, though I do dodge with my block Furra, who takes the punch against the block Skink. And block is pretty huge there. Pretty huge indeed, because it keeps the Skink on his feet. And I finally knocked down these lizards that I should have knocked down last turn. And 2 down isn't good enough. I used my last reroll, but it's a waste. I get a skull and a 2 down again. At least it wasn't just a skull though. Yeah, the 2 Sora get right back up, and Skink can even move into a safe position once we put down this skeleton. Yeah, he's going to make it hard here. Stunty works, and Stunty moves into a position where I can get pieces on him, but I'm going to have to dodge or take a risky block to do so. It's going to look like I take the next turn very quickly, but I did think about it, and I had a couple of choices. I can use this piece to do so, or I can use this piece to do so. And I choose this piece to finally attack the skink because I can pick up with this piece and hopefully get the ball over here somewhere. So blitz this Saurus, block this Saurus first, which is good. Then move the skeleton. No, I'm not moving the skeleton. He would have been in the way, that's why. I want to lock up this piece, but any move puts any piece in the way. But a POW is huge here. And the stun is also pretty big. And the ball lands perfectly, meaning that I can go and pick it up. Yeah, should have moved the skeleton first before trying the pickup, but I didn't. So skeleton finally moves, and the other thrower is going to lock up the skink as well. I'm stopping with the passing for now, and I take a 1 die against the Crocs because I don't want him standing, and 2 down is good enough for me. If he's standing, he just takes a block on the skeletons anyway, so I want him down, even for the cost of a 1 die. It's a good blitz choice. It means that this Saurus will be freed up. Meaning that I probably have to dodge or take a risky block, though failing that dodge means I have enough pieces to make this block quite safe, and with a block piece. Yeah, standing up pieces, making sure that nothing can move easily. And I actually want this piece free. I want to maybe pass to it. Or hand off to it at least, not pass. Pass would be too much, but hand off, yeah? It is tempting to foul these 2 skinks, but I'm more interested in moving the ball and finally getting a score in this match. Hand off is good. Now we need to make a gap for him. And there's the gap. Let's take it. I was debating whether or not to take this block. I decided it was rather safe in the end, but I would have been better off not taking it, because double skull. And I knew that it was a risky block, but I don't know. I don't know if I should have taken that one or not. I'll leave that one to you guys. Just tell me, turn 14, should block, shouldn't block. Anyway, it means the ball is loosened, and I think that was my first major mistake of the game, or at least the dice's major mistake, however you want to look at it. He was debating dodging the skink to get the ball, but he decided that it would be safer next turn, which was very sensible. And when I'm looking at this now, I should have moved this piece up. And stood on the ball at least, instead of going this way. And should have just stood this piece up. The next turn can block, take the ball, run up. But I didn't. I went for the dodge. I went for the risky play, and it didn't pay off. That was my one chance to score. The other chance was to put this piece on the ball. Then again, even if I did it next turn, no, I couldn't have scored. So that was actually my only chance to score. Though of course, if you do enough 3-die blitzes, eventually it goes wrong. Skink fails the pickup, reroll, and fails again. That was unfortunate. It's going to make it pretty hard for me to stop him from getting that handoff, but I'm going to try by bringing in the mummies. And I did try GFI, and it failed. I knew it was risky, but unfortunately it failed. I could have put the Tomb Guard here. No, it wouldn't have made a difference. No, that was the only place I could have put him that would have stopped the ball carry getting through. And final handoff fails, and the match ends 0-0. I think James played very well. There are a couple of plays I would have maybe done differently, but I made a couple of mistakes too, especially towards the end. The level ups were nice though. The block skink got another level up, and James Typhoon did mention in Discord that he got a double, and he's been given sure hands. I got 2 level ups. I got Fracture the Blitzra and Ancestor the Tomb Guard, and they both were given Mighty Blow because I rolled normals on both. 9 armor breaks to 11 armor breaks, but my armor breaks were more permanent, and 1 death, unfortunately. The Saurus is gone. Ace Dex was the only SPP he got all game, and I got 2 for each of my Blitzra and my Tomb Guardian for doing some damage. The death from the Tomb Guardian, and the injured skink from Specimen, and Fracture got man of the match, of course. Anyway, that's all for tonight. I am busy tonight and tomorrow now, and I'm already feeling incredibly exhausted, so it's going to be fun packing and moving and things. I will try and get some old replays of old games from the Stumblers, from the Pro Stumblers who you just saw play, and a couple of others out over the next couple of days because I've got a lot of free time after today. The good news from this match though is that the Pro Stumblers are back to almost full strength. There's the skeleton missing, but I can't afford him, but I do have the 4 Tomb Guardians again. And we have the 3 Mighty Blow, which makes this team a little bit more scary. And also Artifact is back as well with his plus agility, thankfully. So next time this team play, it's going to be worth watching maybe. Though this time, I don't know. I still think it was a good game, even though it ended in a 0-0 draw. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon. May Nuffle smile on you, and if you are part of the ICBBL, book me for Wood Wars at your earliest convenience. Thank you very much, guys. Bye-bye.